I bet you didn't know about this, but there is a correlation between how your charts look like and the profits you make. Hear me out. Now, if your charts are all over the place, really messy with lots of different colors, lots of different lines and indicators, and it's just looking chaotic, well, most likely that is going to correlate to your results. They're going to be chaotic. You're going to be losing focus. You're not going to be able to stay in the zone, and you're going to lose money. Now, imagine your charts are nice, clean, crisp with neutral color grading. You have templates for all the tools you're using, so that is going to simplify your processes throughout the day. Well, you're very likely going to remain in the zone, stay calmer, make it easier for yourself to analyze the pairs, and of course you are going to make more money. Traders, welcome to the Trading Fanatic channel. In this video, it's going to be all about TradingView. We're going to jump into the platform and I'm going to show you how to transform your charts from an ugly looking, bright colors and all of that stuff to a very nice, clean and crisp chart. And also I'm going to share with you all the tools that I use with colors and with everything so that you get the charts looking like mine, which I know that you love so far from the weekly outlook and setups. If you're excited about this, let's not waste any time, jump into the video, transform your charts and start making more profits. All right, here we are on a TradingView chart. This is the first thing you're gonna see if you log into TradingView, if you create a brand new account. Also, this video is not sponsored by TradingView. It is just the charting platform that I personally use. I execute on MetaTrader 4 and I do my charting on TradingView. Of course, TradingView does have an option to link a brokerage account so that you can actually directly execute on TradingView. And if you trade with any of these brokers that are listed right there under trading panel, you can of course try to trade on TradingView. I've never done it, but of course I'm a bigger fan on MT4 and the brokers that I'm usually using are not supported by TradingView. All right, so as we are on the charts, the first thing we want to take care of are the colors, because as I said in the intro, how your charts look like actually affect your trading performance. It affects what you see, right? And pretty much it can give you emotions. If you just look at this chart, it is very bright green, it is very bright red. It's kind of mixing up with the white. We have all of these grits as well. So to me, it's not looking good. Okay, so let's fix it. The first thing we're gonna do is right click and then we're gonna go to settings, right? So pretty much we have all of these and we're gonna start from the top, which is the symbol. So here we're gonna be doing all the work. Now, the first thing you want to do is to change your borders and wicks to black. So we do all of these in black color. There we go. And if you actually only do this, your charts are already looking way better because you can see there is actually texture right now. The body of the candle, the border of the candle is actually black and the wick is also black. So you can clearly see where the wicks are starting, where the wicks are ending, and you can clearly see the outline of the candles. But still, I really do believe that big green and big red candles, they do tend to trigger emotion into you. And if you're like watching the lower time frames and you see a very big 1 minute green candle, you're like, yo, we are going up. This is why I really believe in neutral colors, but I have been asked a lot of times to share my TradingView chart colors, the ones that I use on the weekly outlook and setups. So let's do exactly that. We're going to be going on to body, then you click on the plus sign and you're going to use this little hex code right there. By the way, if you actually want to have all of these in a very nice PDF format, make sure to click in the first link in the description. It should be on the top. And I'm going to share with you all different concepts and all different colors that I'm using for different types of charts so that you can actually play with all of them, see how they feel, and you can try a lot of those. And also I'm going to be sharing all the tools for my arrows, trend lines, Fibonacci's and all of that stuff so that you can get your charts to a top level. This is the color that I use there. So we click add. So there is that. And of course I will just reduce the opacity to 90% because again, I don't want for the colors to be that bright. And then here on this one, we're going to be using a black color. So once again, we click on the plus and you can just type this color, this hex code right there, which again, I'm going to include in the PDF. Click add and then just reduce the opacity a little bit. Now, of course, you can play with those settings, but here is pretty much how my weekly outlook charts look like. So if you can only do this, that's fine. But of course, let's continue. We once again go to settings. And pretty much we don't really touch anything else, right? This one right there, you want it for it to be here because that pretty much shows you where the price is right now. If you want to make it even more neutral, let's make it black, right? And previous day close, you don't need this high and low. You don't need this because it's all kind of noise on your chart. Then we go on to status line. So again, play with all of these like logo. This is pretty much that little thing right there. You can see then title, that is the title of the pair right there. So I definitely leave this one open. Open market status, you don't really need it, because if you're trading Forex or if you're trading crypto, maybe just for stocks, usually the market is going to be open. It doesn't take a lot of space, so you can keep it open. OHLC value, so this is open, high, low, close. This is very important, especially if you're looking at specific highs and lows in the market. And these are described right here. So how do you utilize this is by using your mouse and crosshair. So if you actually point to a candle, let's take this candle right there. And if you actually have a look at right here, it's gonna show you the open. So the open of this candle is 105.437. You can see it's high, you can see it's low, and you can see where it actually closed. So I definitely do keep those in here. Now, bar change values, you definitely don't need this, because again, this is just showing you like the percentage of change within the bar, within the candle. So not really important. Volume also, you don't really need this. Indicators, now keep the titles, but hide the arguments, because you can see here, I just have a very simple Asian session range indicator right there, and it's a very big line. If I just remove the arguments, boom. FX market section, nice and clean. If I hide it, boom, nice and clean, okay? Values, just keep this out there. I don't think it actually changes, because if you don't have the arguments, then the values, you don't care about them. Background, I'm not entirely sure what this background is for. There we go. This is our status line, okay? Nothing much to change. Scales. So let's go on to scales. Now, labels, symbol name, you don't really need this. Like, it just shows right there. You don't need this. Symbol last price, we do need this, because we want to see where the price is exactly right now. And of course, you can copy everything that I have right there. Again, indicator and financial values. This is when you have some indicators. Maybe you don't need this. You don't need this. Countdown to bar close. You do need this, because again, you want to know how many hours or how many minutes are left before the candle closes. That is very important. Plus button, I'm actually not entirely sure what that is, but I'm pretty sure we actually don't need it. Day of the week labels, again, oh yeah, this is how it actually shows you. So if you actually have a look at the bottom right there, you see Tuesday, 26th of September, 2023, 13 o'clock, right? So I really do like this, so make sure to keep this right there. So that is scales. And then we go to canvas. So this is where the stuff actually changes. Now, the background, keep it solid. You don't want a gradient color like with 2 colors. You are here to trade, being professional, not here to draw paintings. The background, it is really personal. I personally like to keep it a little bit on the gray side. So if you go right there to the gray, you go to the left. I usually like to keep it around F3, like F0, F0, F0 like that, or just all the way up to like to the 10, to 9. So from somewhere right there, this is how I personally like to keep it slightly bit gray, because if you stare at your white charts all day, your eye starts to hurt, right? So even if you want to make it something like this, that is perfectly fine. It's actually much better. Then for your grid lines, just click none. You don't need that stuff, okay? Your crosshair, make it black and make it a line, okay? So that you have a very clean and nice looking crosshair, because it's very important. Watermark, just remove this, you don't need it, and that's pretty much it. Trading, you don't need anything right there. If you are not trading on TradingView, just remove all of this stuff. You don't need it. And then events, TradingView recently added a little tool right there that you can actually have your news shown right there. I do like it from time to time, but I just again prefer to keep it clean. So we can remove them, because again, we're using economic calendars for our economic news events, right? So we don't really need them on TradingView. Then we click OK, and there is our chart. So now what you should do is, when you actually determine the best colors for your chart, you go to settings, and then when everything is put up together, you click on template, and then you do save as, and then you save your template. Okay, so just type it. I'm just gonna do test, save. Okay, and right now this whole thing that we just did is saved. So if you sometimes like maybe change some colors, but you still want to go to your older ones, you just go to color theme, and there is the test. So pretty much here is how the weekly outlook and setups look like. It's just a little bit darker. So here is my currently I'm utilizing this chart for my own trading. Again, as I told you, I like to keep neutral colors, so gray and kind of a little bit blackish, grayish, right? And then of course I did have something like this, okay, which is just green and red. I do have, for example, just black charts, which is how I learned market structure. I do have black and white, which is just, again, you decide what you want to do, but this is where we're going to be stopping, which is the weekly outlook template. Okay, So hopefully right now your charts are looking very, very clean. Right now it's time to go on to the next step, which is all the tools you're going to be using. And once again, I'm going to be sharing with you all those color templates. So make sure to download your little PDF down in the link below. All right, our chart is right now looking lovely. It's very crisp, very clean, very nice. But then of course, the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be populating this chart with some amazing tools. Okay, but if you're using the regular tools, well, we're going to be having a break of structure right there. Then of course, we might draw a trend line if you're using trend lines. Then we're going to take the fib from the most recent low to the most recent high. Then of course, we're going to draw our demand zone, and then we're going to we're going to plot our buy and sell to. We put in a little bit of imbalance right there. And you can see our chart, although it was extremely clean, right now it looks like a little bit catastrophic. Okay. In this part of the video, we're going to take care of all the tools we're going to be using. Now, the most common tool we usually use is the arrow. You're usually drawing this for structure breaks or just for very simple arrows. It doesn't really matter. The arrow looks like this with the regular settings, okay? But now we're gonna take care of this. It's very chunky, it's very colorful as well. It has this very big arrow right there. So how we change it is we double click, we go to the style, and the first thing we do is we make it black. The second thing we do is we reduce the thickness from here. And then what I like doing is I like to actually remove the actual arrow. So I do it with normal. You don't need any of these. You don't need any of these, right? And you can see we actually went from a very thick line right there to a very nice and simplistic straight arrow. Now, you have probably seen on my charts that I have text on all of my arrows, and I'm gonna show you how I actually do this. Okay, so you go to text, you click text, okay? And then of course, if you just try to type something, you can see that it appears right there. So you start playing with all the stats. Now, first of all, we're gonna make this black. We're going to make this a little bit smaller. Like I would actually do them 10 or 11. I'm not sure what mines are. Then we're gonna do the text alignment to the right or to the left, depending on how you actually want it. And then we're right now on the 4-hourly time frame. So let's make a 4-hourly structure break to the upside. So what I do is I just type 4H and then I put an arrow. Now, the biggest question I've had is how do you put arrows on your structure breaks? Well, if you are on Windows, you have to click the Windows key and then the period, the dot. Okay, so if you do this, it's gonna trigger the emojis. There it is, window plus period. If you're on Mac, I'm not exactly sure how you do it, but you have to just go on Google and you just type arrow up emoji and you just copy it from somewhere. There it is. I just found one right there. I'm just gonna copy it, Control C, go back, Control V, boom. There is our arrow. So very nice, very simple way. And I really like how this looks like. Now, again, for the Windows users, we're gonna type Windows and dot. And then if you type arrow, there it is. Boom. Then I'm gonna make it bold. And there it is. Nice, simple, 4-hourly break of structure to the upside. You click OK. And then what I'm going to give you an advice to do is make templates for all of these. So once this is ready, okay, you click right here on templates, and then you're going to save drawing template as. Now here is a very good tip. I want you to mark all of the things you're going to be using from starting from the highest time frame all the way to the lowest one, from 0 all the way until like however numbers you have. What this does is actually puts them into not alphabetical order, but you can choose which one appear first. Because if you do 4H here, daily here, 50-minute here, they're all gonna be all over the place. So I found that this little way, if you start from 0 all the way to 3, pretty much they're gonna align in a numerical order right there. So again, you save drawing template as, and then you say 0.4H bullish break if you wish. How I did them is exactly the same thing that I wrote here. It's a 4H arrow up, and that means that it's a 4-hourly break of structure up. So after you save this and then you go to your chart, here is the other tip that comes in. Okay, usually you come on the charts and you really try to pick the perfect spot for the trade, and then you really want to make this arrow straight. Okay, so here is the hack. If you click Control on your key, it could be Control on Mac or Command, right? The market is gonna automatically trigger this magnet function right there. And if you just hold that Control key, you can see your line automatically snaps at the high or the low or the open or the close of the candle. So if I wanna mark a structure break from this high, I just hold Control. And you can see if I then click the market is going to be exactly magnetized towards the high of this candle. But then how do I make it straight? You hold shift. And if you hold shift, it's either going to make it vertical, perfectly diagonal, or perfectly horizontal. And then I'm just going to drag it holding shift all the way to the candle that causes the break. And then I'm just going to left click again, and you have an absolutely perfect straight line. Then you click on this, you go to your templates, you click on your already made template, boom. You have a nice clean structure break. You know the time frame that the structure break is on, okay? And you know what is happening right now. So that is pretty much the arrow and all the tips. Again, if you want all of the settings, you do exactly the same. Another tip, like if you don't want your 4-hourly lines, so let's try with a 15-minute time frame. So we're just gonna go on the 15-minute time frame, and we would like to make a 15-minute trend change line. Okay, so you take another arrow, you hold control, and the trend change is gonna be from here. You then hold shift and you mark it to the trend change. Like potentially the trend change can occur here. So then we double click. The style I like for my trend changes, I make them red. Right? That is a little tip, because again, the trend change is a very important part of your market structure, because that signifies a change in the direction. And that is when potentially you can also start looking for trades. TC, and then I'm gonna do the windows and dot, arrow down. So there it is, 15 TC down. Then what I immediately do, again, so you can see here, it's at the top. Okay, so I'm just gonna align it to the bottom, because again, I don't want this to be with this wick right there. So again, for a bearish market structure, you want your text alignment to be on the bottom. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is template, save as. Okay, and then of course, if your 4-hourly time frame is first, then the 50-minute is gonna be second. So I type 2.50-minute TC down, and you save it. Okay. What you can also do is the visibility. So if you don't want your 50-minute TCs or your 1-minute time frame zones to be appearing on your 4-hourly time frame, what you simply do is you go to this line, you go to visibility, and like I don't want my 50-minute time frame lines to be appearing on anything above the 1-hourly time frame. So here you go to visibility and you remove everything. So this line is only going to be visible on the time frames from the 1-minute to the 59-minute. Now, if you make this change, make sure to hit again template, save as, and then just do a new template or replace the previous one. And when you do this, so right now, look at this. This line is here, but when I go to the FOH, it disappeared. It's not there. So this way, when you jump between time frames, you're going to have those lines populate. Okay. And personally, I like for my higher time frame lines to see them on every time frame, but I don't like for my lower time frame lines to be seen on the higher time frames, because it gets a little bit too noisy once again. So with that being said, right now, your homework is to make lines for structure breaks and for everything that you have. So just to visually show you, here are all the lines that I'm personally using in my trading. Daily breakup, daily breakdown, 4-hourly breakup, 4-hourly breakdown, 15-minute break, 50-minute TC, 30-minute TC, liquidity grab line, and liquidity available, right? So those are all the tools. And once again, if you want the exact settings for everything, make sure to click in the link in the description. I'm gonna have described them all. Right now, it's time to actually have a look at the next important tool that we're gonna be using. The next important tool we're gonna be using is the rectangle tool. So the rectangle is located exactly within the arrow little box right there. And there it is, rectangle. So again, you can star it so that it actually appears right there. Now the default settings for the rectangle looks like this. Again, very chunky, very bright, very bold. So we double click. First thing we do is we remove the border. We don't need it. So if you want to remove it fully, you just go opacity 0. Then of course the background is important. So I do like to keep my backgrounds very, very, very minimal. So again, I'm just going to show you once again, if you want all the colors, you can find them in the description. But the background that I use for my demand zone, for example, it's very kind of low blue. This is the hex code on 15% opacity. Okay, and once again, there is no text right there. The coordinates you decide. So for my higher time frame zones, I like to see them on all the time frames. But for my lower time frame zones, we can of course do visibility changes. Okay, so we went from a very bulky demand zone. So let's compare. If I take this demand zone and I do the regular, right, it just doesn't look good. But then if I do my higher time frame demand settings, boom, it just looks nice, clean, simple, does not distract me, and it's very nice. Now for my supply tool, exactly the same, just change the colors, right? In this case, it's a red color around the same kind of proportions with, again, with 15% opacity, and that's it. There is my supply. Now, if you want me to give you a quick tip right there on how to actually draw those, okay, so let's practice on this most recent demand zone. So again, you are usually gonna try to like pick the exact, but then it's not gonna be perfect, and maybe you do something like this. Well, again, use what I told you for the arrows. Hold Control, click on the top of the candle that you want to take as your demand zone, click, then still hold Control, and then click on the bottom of that candle. So in this way, you fully embrace that candle. Then you're gonna find that middle line right there, and you're just gonna drag it to the left, right? So there is a perfectly drawn demand zone from the top to the bottom of the candle that you choose as your supply or demand. Okay, so if you do supply, let's say that this is our supply, this little candle right there, we take it from the low to the high with the control key, then we press and release, okay, and then pretty much your zone is here. You just have to find it, drag it from the middle, because don't drag it from the top, because if you take it from the top, you're gonna stray away from it. So again, with control, from the top to the bottom, then just draw it forward like this from the middle, and then you have a perfectly drawn supply zone. This is how you draw the rectangles. What I have is pretty much also a lower time frame one. So lower time frame supply and lower time frame demand. The only difference that I have there is that the blue is with a slightly bit kind of brighter, right? And my red is exactly the same. So what does that help me do is to actually see, okay, like if it's redder, if it's more red, more bright red, then that is a lower time frame supply. If it's a brighter blue, that is a lower time frame demand as well. What I also tend to do is another tip I want to give you is I put actually the time frame, the time frame that I'm actually drawing the demand zone on. So what I do is I double click on the zone, go to text, and in this case that is a 50-minute time frame. So the only thing I do is I write 15. I position it inside to the right. Okay, so again, you choose how for it to look. It can be bold, it can be italic, whatever you want to do. But this just very little simplistic thing, keeping it the smallest number, right? Not very big, not very bright, not very bulky. It just shows you the time frame. Okay, so if I just very quickly go to the foliage right now, and then I draw, for example, again, holding control from top to bottom of the zone, then take it from the low, okay, from the middle, then do hard time frame demand. You know how to save templates already. I'm just very quickly double click and I'm gonna type 4H. Okay, so then when I am on the 50-minute time frame and I see this zone, okay, what is this zone? Well, I drew it way too much to the left. Oh, well, that is my hourly zone. So if I'm sitting on the 50-minute time frame and the market comes inside my hourly zone, then I know that this is a hourly zone just by staying on the 50 minutes. So again, put numbers. You can also make templates. So if you want to have like 50-minute demand zone, just double click, template, save as 15-minute demand. You make a template, okay? So you click save, so that anytime you draw a 50-minute demand zone, instead of actually putting the number in, you can just go in, 50-minute demand, and the 15 is gonna occur. But once again, I want to keep it simple, so I don't want here to have 1,000 templates. I just have like hard time frame demand, hard time frame supply, and I'm gonna put the number if I actually wanted to. So once again, for full breakdown, make sure to check out the link in the description. I'm gonna share with you all the colors and all the settings. The next very important tool you're gonna see me using is the Fibonacci retracement. Now, this is a very simple and very famous tool, and there are a lot of ways to go about it, but you knowing me, you know that I most likely am gonna using it in the most simplistic way. So the Fibonacci tool you can find right there on the third box. You click on that little arrow right there to plot all the tools, and again, it's at the top. You don't need any of these, so don't try to play games and do like Fib circles and all that stuff. Have no idea how this works. Fib retracement, make it favorite, right? So pretty much the Fibonacci retracement, if I just plot the default template, it looks like this, and it's not the best. Very colorful, it looks like a rainbow, but if you draw this Fibonacci here on your chart, you're just gonna again screw up all your beautiful and crisp charts. Let's figure it out. Now, double click on this one. The first thing you're gonna remove is the trend line. You don't need this thing right there to look at. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make the lines a little bit smaller, and then you're gonna remove all the levels that you don't actually need. Okay, so starting from like 4, 2, 3, 161.8, 230, 380, 786, maybe you don't need it, right? And pretty much you're gonna be left with this. Now, the next thing you wanna do is you wanna reduce the background a little bit so that it's very barely visible. You don't need the prices, you don't need to know the exact price. The labels, you want to keep them to the right, so that you actually see where it is. You can also keep them in the center, whatever you like. I personally think No, I think I keep them to the left. I'm not exactly sure. The font size, make it as small as possible. And then you can see how we went from a very colorful fib. Then what I like doing is I like to make my 0 and 1 black. And then of course you can choose the colors that you want right there. But of course we're gonna make it once again as simple as possible. And you can see our fib right now. It actually looks very nice and very simple. But right now I'm just gonna do my template, which is a PD range, and it looks exactly like this. Okay, I see I have them on the right. Once again, if you want those exact settings, I will list them all in the description in the little PDF that I'm gonna share with you. Once again, trend line is removed. I just have 1 and 0 in black color, right? And I just have the 50%. Now, a lot of you want to use also the 61.8. So what you simply do is you open a new box. So let's maybe open the 0.286 and you just remove it and you type 0.618 and it should populate right there. Now, again, you feel free to change the color, feel free to do whatever you like, but that is pretty much how you're gonna populate it, okay? Values here, because again, if you do percents, it's like 100.00%. We'll just make it values and it's 1. Nice and simple. The background, keep it as minimal as possible. Keep it as minimal as possible so that you actually see that there is a PD range going on, but again, it's not very distracting. So there is our fib. Very nice, very simple. How do you draw it? Click on the fib, control key. Once again, so if that is your low, you click control, you press to actually open the fib from the low, and then you keep holding control until you go all the way to the high. And then you release right there, and there is your fib. Nice, clean, simple. If we then draw a break of structure, okay, we were in the foliage, break of structure on the foliage. Then if we draw a nice demand zone, there is a nice clean chart, okay? So that is the Fibonacci tool. Let's go on to the next one. The next tool I like to use are the trend lines. So what is the difference between arrows and trend lines? There is no difference, but I just decided to pick the trend line tool, which you can find right there on the top under trend line, as some other lines that I have usually need of. And those are namely liquidity lines. So liquidity being available, liquidity being swept, previous daily high, previous daily low, week high, and week low. Now, if you have studied the market structure series, you know that the week highs are usually liquidity. You know that also the previous daily highs are also liquidity. So I do have lines for all of these, okay? And if you have seen me in the weekly outlooks, usually if there is like a liquidity area, I'm going to mark it up with a liquidity, okay? And then if a liquidity area has been collected, for example, and wicked out, I am going to mark it up with a liquidity swept, right? So what I do once again is you feel free to choose them however you want. Personally, I use a bolder line. So for liquidity swept, it's like green, a little bit bolder, right? The second thing right there, then liquidity with a tick. How do you get the tick? Exactly the same. So you hold Windows and dots on your keyboard and then you do check, right? And there it is. This is the check mark. You can do this, you can do that, whatever you like. And also you can look at them on the internet. There it is, liquidity. You save it as a template, boom. Previous daily high, I have it as a red line, dotted line. On the text, we have PDH, we also have PDL for the other one. So once again, if you want all of these, I'm gonna share them all in the description. Another tool that I actually recently added to my arsenal, that is the Imbalance tool. And for drawing imbalance, you can do it in many ways. The simplest one is actually with a rectangle. So you hold control, and again, if you know how to mark imbalance, of course, there are numerous ways to do it. I am going to be yet doing an educational video on it. You take it from the high of this wick, right, and then to the low of the, like, because it's usually a 3 candle formation, so it looks something like this. So then, of course, the rectangle you can add, so I'm just gonna give you 2 choices right there. You can add borders, right, so add a black border like that, so that you can actually see clearly where it imbalances, and it could look something like this. But I found an amazing tool for that, and it's called the parallel channel. So it's exactly under the trend lines, right there, parallel channel. Now, it looks like this when you open it. So once again, double click and we have to change it up. So again, I have two options on this one. I have imbalance to fill. So it looks like this. Okay, the channel is black, opacity 50%. It is a line. Okay, the middle is red and it's dashed line. Okay, so this one is actually dotted line, but I'm not sure why it appears as a line. Yeah. And then background, again, as minimal as possible. I'm gonna share the settings, but as minimal as possible. There is no text, visibility is everywhere. So that is my imbalance to fill. And also when the imbalance is filled, right? So let's draw another one. I take it imbalance filled, and that all I change right there is to green. So that I actually know it's filled, okay? Exactly the same setting, just the middle it's green. Very nice, very simple, very clean. So once again, how do I draw this? That includes like a little bit more. So you hold Control and you first click here on the start, but then you cannot click on the other one. So first you then have to click Shift, and then you first draw the imbalance, then you release so that you have a straight line, then you again click Control and you attach it to the other part of the imbalance. So there is how it looks like. And then if you want to enlarge it or move it around, so you just click Shift and that is gonna stay. So Shift makes it nice and clean. That is the imbalance tool. So for example, right now, this is not filled imbalance. So I do 0, which is my imbalance to fill, boom, there it is. And then when it gets filled, I just change it to imbalance filled. And that's how I know what is filled and what is not. Now, when you're taking trades on TradingView and you also want to monitor them there, the best tools to do so are the buy and sell tools, right? Those you can find exactly right there. Projection, low long position, and short position. Now, the templates, they don't look very amazing. So that is how they look like. They're very big, they're very bold, right? So this one is actually not it. So there is the default. Okay, so the biggest tip that I can give you is to double click and then click compact stats mode. So you can see here, we actually have like targets, open P&L, risk to reward ratio, stop. So if you click this, it's gonna remove all of that. But of course, I know that 1 is my risk to reward, 37 is my stop loss, and 37 is my TP. That is all I need to know. Then the second thing I would recommend you do is, once again, guys, keep it clean. So opacity, go from 20, go to 10, like decrease it half. Same with your target color, from 20 to 10. And you can immediately see that when you plot it on the chart right now, it is not that bright, it is not that bad. Okay, well, if I take this one, you can already see how red it is, and it again distracts you. Personally, so there are my short two, there is my long two. Okay, you can see that they're very nice and very simple. I just use like blue and green. And if you want the colors, once again, there is the blue on a 10% and there is the color on a 6%, and it's like a very strange green color. I don't know, you can play with the settings. I'm gonna share them with you. Just keep it simple, make it with less opacity so that it looks good. Right now, let's actually give you some more actionable tips before we wrap it up. I am sure you know the saying, but again, higher time frames are always king. Yet, when we day trade, we tend to just stay on the lower time frames, like on the 50-minute or on the 1 minute, and we tend to neglect the higher time frames. So a tip I want to give you is to always keep a higher time frame chart open. So may that be the 4-hourly time frame, or may that be the 50-minute time frame if you're day trading and you're looking for an entry on the 1 minute. Always keep a higher time frame chart on the left side or on the right side. Now, there are two ways to do it. If you invest in TradingView and you get the pro version, if you go right here at that little square right there and you click on it, you have these two options. Okay, so I usually like to use that one. So if I click that one, your screen is separated into two. Now, there is an important detail right there. You want right there to have your crosshair aligned and your symbol aligned, okay? And also, no, the time frame, no. So what I have right now is the DXY. So here, let me change the color so that they're actually the same. There we go. So right now, here, the Dixie, what I like doing is I just want to make it a little bit smaller. So let's say I'm on the 50-minute time frame right now, and I'm monitoring the 50-minute time frame. And to the left, I am on the 1 minute, having a look at the 1 minute price action and maybe looking for a trade. But I always keep in mind that, for example, right there, you can see when you do this right there, so click here and do new drawings will sync in layout. So make sure that you also click this. Okay, click it. So that right now, when you draw something to the left, so let's mark this 50-minute structure, it's gonna appear right there. When you draw a 50-minute demand zone like that, hard time frame demand, it's gonna appear. And then, for example, I am just staying on the 1 minute. I clearly see what is happening here. The market pushed, it pulls back into demand zone. And then right there, I am on the 1 minute, identifying the liquidity being taken, identifying the trend change that has happened, right? And then taking my trades on the retest with a stop loss below, and then target. I immediately look to the left. Okay, oh, that is my weak high. So I'm just gonna mark my weak high. You can see, and then of course here, I'm just gonna drag the TP to the weak high, and there it is. It automatically drags it on the right chart as well. And if you actually have a look, I just wanna show you actually my charts. If you are on Windows once again, but I do believe on Mac, if you click Alt, so the Alt key on your keyboard, and you just click, that is gonna automatically give you the other screen. So I usually have, so for example, there it is. On US 30, I'm always gonna be looking to the left, right? Having a look at the hard time frames of the 50-minute, and then I have the 1 minute, okay? If I go to NASDAQ, same thing. There is the zone, and there is the 1 minute price action right now. If I go to EU, exactly the same, right? There is my 50-minute price action, and then of course I'm going to be looking on the 1 minute time frame to enter. Okay, so this is how I do it. Now, if you have not invested in this, let's say you don't have the money, maybe here's another hack for you. Now, what you can simply do is you can open 2 TradingView screens, or you can get the app, because if you have a look at the app, you can open multiple charts right on the top. As you can see, I have like Euro USD, GU, US30, NAS, all the pairs that I trade. Okay, and that is a dedicated app that is just TradingView. It's not the browser, because on the browser you can open a lot of other stuff, right? You can have multiple stuff, and then your TradingView charts get lost. But just to show you how you can do it, you can either open 2 TradingView apps, or you can simply open 2 TradingView browser apps. Okay, and there you go. You actually immediately have it. So right now there is the other tip. You hold the Windows key, or maybe on the Mac is the command, I don't know. You position your mouse right there, and then you click the Windows key, and then you click left or right arrow of your keyboard. So I just did right. Then you take your other one and you just put it to the left, and you click again Windows, left, right, and there you can see we actually have right now 2 charts. So if I'm here maybe on the DXY on the 40 time frame, right there I can be on the 1 minute, and you still have 2 charts. It's not looking as good, but again you can still make it look good. So there it is. Right, you can just simply use 2 browser tabs as 2 different charts. But of course, that takes a little bit more work, and it takes a little bit out of your focus. So once again, invest in TradingView and invest in your charting software. Have this tool right there, because I do believe this is the best you can use. And of course, then if you are in your TradingView app, you can of course just go from Euro USD, having your 2 charts in Euro USD, to GBP USD, having those 2 charts, to US30, having the 2 charts again. And then this way, you keep everything organized and nice. Okay, so that's one tip. Let me give you one more. Journaling in trading is very important, yet our charts tend to get really messy from time to time. What I really love about TradingView is that it also offers you a way to make folders on your charts. So this is a hack that not a lot of people know. If you hold Control on your keyboard and you press it, right, and then if you just drag with the mouse, like you do on your desktop, if you want to select multiple icons, you just click Control and drag. Okay, so that puts this tool. So what you can do with that tool is if I do like a couple of things right there, all right, you can just click Control, select them all, and then you can just click Delete, and you can delete them all instead of one by one. All right, so again, if I do a lot of these drawings, right, and I've seen people like click them one by one and delete. No, just click Control, drag, select everything, delete, boom. But there is the beauty of this once again. So let's say that this is a trade we took and we want to journal it. Click Control and select everything. Now, after everything is selected, okay, you go right there, and that is called the object tree and the data window. So you click on this, and you can see this is where you can see all of the drawings you have on your chart. So what you then later do is you click on this folder, and then you create a group or a folder of drawings. Then you have group 1. So then what I do is I do rename. Okay, and I'm just gonna do, for example, today is the 28th of September, and it's, let's say, Friday. Okay, click enter, and right now you have a folder. So if you want to actually hide it, you just click hide, and everything hides. And then maybe you're like all the way ahead, and you're like, okay, what did I do on the 28th of September? What trades did I take? I want to go back and review them. You just go here, you find the 28th of September, you hit this, and boom, all the trades come back here. Okay. So I really like this. And if you actually have a look at my charts, like if I just go to Euro USD and if I go to my object tree, I keep track of all of those folders. So again, from the 4th, 5th, 11th, 12th, 20th, 20th. So I can always go back to refer to those trades and see what I did. And of course, you see how many drawings I have. What I can just simply do is I can click here, hold Shift, select them all, right? And then I can even do with Control key. So select everything and then make it all into a folder. So then I can do this, right? Rename, analysis. This is something else that I like to do. So we can also here, these 3, hold them, right? Select the 3 of them, 1, 2, 3 with Control, holding Control, take them, put them into analysis. Right now you can see your object tree is empty. And this is all your analysis. So if you want to keep a clean chart, there it is. Everything is inside. And I really like this. Now, another tip I can give you is pretty much on your watch list. So here on the top, you have your watch list. How I like to organize them by the trades, by the pairs I trade. or maybe with like you want to have a look at cryptos, you want to have all pairs and different sort of stuff. So you just create a new list and then you just have to add pairs inside. As you can see, I have a list right there with all the pairs. Like those are all the pairs. How you do this? Let's create a new list. So we create a new list, my main pairs, save, right? And then of course you're gonna click on the plus, and let's say you want to add Euro USD. So you type Euro USD, FXCM, boom, Euro USD appears. Then I'm also gonna be trading GBP USD. So we add GBP USD, boom, GBP USD appears. And right now you can find this right here. So all the list, you go to your main pairs, and right now you just have your watch list is your 2 main pairs. So you don't have to like constantly go and search like for Euro USD somewhere. You have them both, and you can just simply shift them with the space key. If you click space, that is gonna skip to the next pair. So it's very easy to flick through pairs. All right. So that's pretty much it. Alright, fanatics, I really hope you loved the video. Make sure to once again click the link in the description because I have a little gift for you there. I'm gonna share with you a PDF guide of all the colors, of all the templates, and all the tools pretty much I'm using. And then of course you can tweak them, you can play with them at your own time. But I really advise you organize your trading view and build all of your templates that you're using, because again, your organization in your business is pretty much what is gonna determine your profits. And trading is a business. So sit down, organize your trading view, make it nice looking, simplify your process, because I promise you, since I did this, I became much more profitable and I became much more systematic, and actually trading has become more enjoyable. So make sure you do that. If you stick up until the end, thank you for that. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and let me know down in the comments, what is the next video you'd like to see from me? I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and talk to you in the next one.